I would ask you to applaud, please, as the answer is very great. Please applaud as loudly as you can. Thank you. Please resume the seats. Please, all members of the National Assembly, directors general and heads of public and private corporations.
Good evening, sir. Please, I want
2001, we are at 44%.
This year's conference, we have more than 4,800 people attending from 12 countries and from 25 states across Nigeria. That means the conference is national and international as well. The idea is to cross-pollinate between our technology and innovation ecosystem from states and with the international global ecosystem. Our youth don't have to move to Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt for them to succeed. We want them to stay in their state, to use technology to solve their local problems, with a mindset of taking their solutions to Abuja, Lagos, London, US, and anywhere in the world. The conference is curated to deliver 12 keynotes, 23 panel discussions, 5 practical workshops, 2 expert master classes. And all this is curated around 5 tracks. How can we build connectivity to connect the unconnected, to make sure every Nigerian is part of this digital economy we are building? The second track is about building our digital public infrastructure as well as trust. How can we build trust for our citizens to use technology? How can we use technology to build trust between government and citizens? How can government leverage technology to engage citizens and deliver quality services to our citizens? We also have a track on artificial intelligence and emerging technologies. How can we harness the power of artificial intelligence to help every Nigerian achieve 3-5x leap in productivity and efficiency in whatever you do? We also have a track on digital trade and innovation, because it is not just about us building technology. It is about us using our greatest resource to harness and grow our economy. How can we encourage our startups to build not just for Nigeria, but for Africa and for the world? And we're also going to have a track on digital skills and literacy. How can we build the digital fluency of our citizens to make sure every Nigerian is digitally visible, every Nigerian is part of this digital economy? And how can we build skills for our citizens to make sure we build our digital offerings in country, as well as to get our citizens to contribute to the global ecosystem? So this is all what we are going to be discussing at the conference. And the government is doing a lot. I'm not going to tell you what the government is doing. The Honorable Minister will be on the stage to share with you what we are doing at the ministry, and the Vice President will tell us the bigger vision for driving the economy using technology. Doing this will help us to build a sustainable growth through innovation in Nigeria. So my advice to all of you, especially the innovators and startups, don't leave this conference without making all the meetings you need to grow your startups. For the investors, don't leave without meeting your next unicorns. For the government officials, don't leave this place without getting idea about how you can come up with the next policy, the next regulation that will help us to use technology to catalyze growth and drive national inclusivity, prosperity among our citizens. Thank you for listening. May God bless you and may God bless Nigeria.
From the steam engine, the curtains and so on.
The AI is doing now because it's a different emergence.
So I don't think AI also. So technologies have been emerging for quite.
I can tell you as a farmer, I was extremely successful this last season. My farm went beyond national average because I've used a bit of technology in it, but I was only able to get 3.5 tons. I still need to invest a bit more. But as I speak to you, I have thousands of maize locked up in my warehouse. I visited a mill in my state a few weeks ago, and what I discovered explained why it was not competitive for me to sell my maize. Because the mill had to buy their maize from the best possible prices in the world. And I saw bags of maize from Argentina and Brazil. Because they have to buy the cheapest so that they can help feed our people. The only thing I picked out of it as a leader and someone that is responsible for technology is that we must make technology ubiquitous so that our farmers can also leverage these innovations to improve productivity. We do not have a choice. They cannot compete with the import from this market to feed the mills that require the maize to produce those feed for our animal. And this is the same, if you think about it truly, in security. Our armed forces will put in their very best, but we must also make the best technologies available to them so that they can drive the growth that we want to see. You can think of this in education, in public health. We have a stellar Minister of Health who is changing things significantly for our nation, but we have to provide connectivity to every of our primary and whether secondary and any healthcare facility in this country for the minister to be able to determine what is going on real time across our country and as such be able to serve the nation. And we know that with artificial intelligence, we now have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to reimagine what is possible, from smarter governance to predictive healthcare to agricultural optimization and to digital trade. And this is why, under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in recognition of this reality, the federal government is now investing in foundational digital infrastructure and capability that will define Nigeria's future. Today, Nigeria is leading on a project that is called Project Bridge, which is delivering 90,000 kilometers of open access fiber to connect every part of our country with world-class internet access. From every geopolitical zone to every state to every local government to every ward, you will have a point of presence for fiber-based internet. This is a project that is now been approved by the board of the World Bank and is the largest of its kind in any developing country in the world. In fact, it is the largest in the World Bank's digital portfolio. They've never funded any project to this size. It is why the president is mandated that we must also invest in 4,000 new telecommunication towers, because there are 20 million Nigerians who live in communities without access to any form of telecommunications. Most of these people are in the rural areas. And these are parts of the country where the bandits find easy to hide because it's difficult for the armed forces to be able to track them. Today, that project is now been approved by the National Assembly through the borrowing plan. And in the next 2 to 3 years, all these communities will be provided access to world-class telecommunication services. It is also why we've decided as a nation, through the mandate of the President, that we must create 1 million technical jobs to establish the 3 million technical talent, which is a first of its kind globally. There's no country in the world today that is training 3 million technical talents. Absolutely no country. We've started this project in Nigeria. We've done the 1%. We've done the 10%. The President is now mandated that we should set up a fund to be able to complete the 3 million, not just under his leadership, but ensure that Nigeria can continue to train our teeming youth population. I think the DG said our average age is 18. I know the VP will say 16.9 or 16.7. I've heard it from you a few times. So that's the number I tend to use. Also, the National Artificial Intelligence Strategy that we've developed in Nigeria is the first of the kind. Nigeria was the first country in the world to use artificial intelligence to identify Nigerians all over the world who are either researchers or business people in AI. And we brought 120 of them to Abuja to help us craft our national AI strategy, which is now being referenced as one of the best on the African continent. In this administration, we funded 55 AI research projects just to ensure that not only do we determine what we do with AI, but we can also contribute to generation of knowledge in artificial intelligence for the entire world. We're not stopping there. This administration is now preparing the establishment of a data exchange system, which is a framework for interoperability across MDAs to enable secure and seamless data sharing, meaning agencies can now seamlessly share data, but also we can share data with the private sector, helping us to build solutions to many of our needs. And last but not the least, under this administration and in the last few months, and yesterday was the public hearing, we are about to see a first single piece of legislation for the digital economy, which is called the Nigerian Digital Economy and E-Governance Bill. And we're hoping that by the end of this week, this landmark piece of legislation will be signed into law by the President. It will be the first of its kind on the African continent. It will provide the legal foundation for secure electronic transaction and trusted digital economy. Under the leadership of our President and Vice President, we have clarity on how digital technology serves both our immediate needs and our future aspirations, enabling shared prosperity across our nation. We now understand what digital means to our past, and that's connectivity. And to our present is productivity and inclusion. But to our future, we want to make it about competitiveness and sustainability. In closing, therefore, as we open this year's edition of Digital Nigeria, I invite every participant, be it colleagues from within government, folks from the private sector, the academia, and development partners, to use this platform to deepen collaboration and shape actionable outcomes that move our digital economy forward. Let us continue to innovate, to collaborate, and to lead so that Nigeria stands not just as Africa's digital giant, but as global example of how technology can drive shared prosperity. I thank you all for listening. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
You know, are there ways that
our digital literacy level will be at 70%, and for 460 champions in a state,
When you multiply that by 30, so we are recruiting 80 champions in every step plus FCT of formal education. We have worked with the Ministry of Education. We have developed digital literacy curriculum.
If there's any shortcut through which we can catch up with the developed economies, it lies in digital innovation. We are endowed with one of the world's most vibrant pools of talent, and the success of our race with the rest of the world can only be guaranteed by us. This is why I'm honored to witness this gathering of stakeholders ready for the task before us. And I'm extremely delighted that I'm in the midst of some of the brightest minds in Nigeria. And when you get things right, from the Honorable Minister to the heads of agencies under his canopy, they are all square pegs in square holes, and they are eminently qualified. And for the Honorable Minister, he grew up in that ecosystem. He knows his onions, he eats his onions, and he's a very versatile professional. And we cannot keep lamenting our absence at the table in the previous industrial revolutions. This digital web offers us a redemptive opportunity, an opportunity to define on our own terms in the next chapter of global progress. 5 out of the 9 unicorns in Africa are in Nigeria. FlutterWeb, Money Point, to name but a few. And believe me, some of the upcoming giants are equally from this part of the world. And at the forefront of this ambition stands a man of 1,000 visions, the progressive leader we are fortunate to have as president of this beloved nation, at a time that demands reformers and patriots, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. Honorable Minister, distinguished guests, the uncertainties of the global economy, shocks, shifting alliances, and the rapid displacement of traditional jobs by emerging technologies have compelled us to act boldly. Our economic reforms are stabilizing the ship, and I am proud to share that these reforms have inspired investor confidence and earned us applause from independent observers. From Fitch, which upgraded Nigeria's sovereign rating to be with a stable outlook, to Moody's, which lifted our issuer rating to B3 with a stable outlook. The world is taking note of our steady progress. This is our motivation to stay on course. Digital innovation offers us the highway to reach our destination. It is not only a youth-led sector, it is the very future of our shared humanity. It is the sustainable and inclusive answer to our quest for relevance, opportunity, and transformation. What this administration achieved is to end the regimes of volatility and unpredictability that once defined our economy. The pace before us now is to ensure that these macroeconomic gains trickle down to the people, from the kiosks of our neighborhood traders to the boardrooms of our multinational corporations. We do what we have done because we can no longer apply 20th century solutions to 21st century problems. That is why I'm excited about the aim of this gathering, an affirmation of innovation for a sustainable digital future that accelerates growth, inclusion, and global competitiveness. This vision aligns perfectly with our economic reform agenda, because the future we are building is one where the young Nigerian takes the front seat, sits at the decision-making table, and has a voice in shaping our destiny. The language of our long-term stability is digital. However, if we must move beyond the quick wins of simple applications to building deep tech solutions that address foundational challenges in agriculture, health, logistics, and governance, we must set our priorities right. We need a digital ecosystem that works as seamlessly in Lagos as it does in Abuja, in Port Harcourt, in Kano, in Gusau, and across every corner of our nation. The digital success we seek is one where the farmer in Koranamboda can access real-time market data to sell his harvest at a fair price, where a young woman in Oguta can work remotely for a global company because she has connectivity and the skills to compete. And by the testimony of the Honorable Minister of Communications, we are on the road to that destination. That is inclusive growth President Bola Ahmed Tinubu ambitions. The highest investment by the World Bank in the digital space is here in Nigeria. And none of us here is unaware of the ongoing diversification of our economy. But where other sectors point to physical monuments as proof of their progress, yours is proven by your sheer presence. Every startup here is a note of diversification. Every line of code written by our developers is a new export product. Every piece of intellectual property created by our brilliant minds is a new national asset. You, the innovators, are the engine that will drive Nigeria away from overdependence on finite resources and towards an infinite one, which is human creativity. Yet even the most powerful engine is fuel. This is the role we have chosen to play on this flight to the future. Our strategy rests on three pillars: people, infrastructure, and policy. On people, we are building a holistic pipeline of digital talent, integrating digital literacy into school curricula, promoting inclusion through the Digital Literacy for All initiative to digitize the informal sector, and developing world-class expertise through the 3 Million Technical Talent Program. On infrastructure, we are constructing the broadband superhighway that powers a digital economy. Through projects like Bridge and 774, we are ensuring high-speed connectivity so that a startup in Gusau enjoys the same access as one in Abuja or Lagos. On policy, we are creating an enabling environment that encourages innovation. The success of our cashless reforms has positioned Nigeria as one of the most dynamic fintech ecosystems in the world. And now we are opening the next frontier. We are in the advanced stage of passing the National Digital Economy and E-Governance Bill into law. I want you to understand the magnitude of this step. Just as the cashless policy unlocked the fintech revolution, this new bill will unlock the GovTech revolution, an era of smarter governance, greater transparency, and inclusive service delivery. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the government cannot achieve this without you, the pillar of our digital economy, our youth, the live wire of our nation, the blood of our country. You are the innovators, the disruptors, the dreamers who turn possibilities into progress. On this note, it is my honor and privilege to cherish forever to declare open the Digital Nigeria International Conference and Exhibition 2025. I wish all participants productive deliberations and look forward to the transformative outcomes that will emerge from this engagement. Thank you, and God bless us all.
And also, there is initiative USPF, NCC is doing